Deshaun Watson from QB Unplugged with his quarterback coach, Quincy Avery, just on how he approaches training camp practices.
It's just more just locking in on the task, following my,
hmm
my, my, my reads. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, always go back and refer back to the basics. What is the basis of this play? What is my reads? Is it a pin progression? Is it a PSL? Is it RPO? Is it PRO? Is it a pin progression with an option? Like, make the game simple as possible and get the ball into our receivers, our skilled guys' hands, and let them make plays. And that's the key, is to be able to get the ball into these guys' hands so they can make plays. Because we have a lot of guys that can have a lot of yak yards. And we just got to get them in space. And if I can make those decisions fast and play fast and just know, okay, I see the coverage, this is where I want to go with the ball, that's what I've been doing.
Jeff, the other thing and you kind of alluded to it, he's kind of on a pitch count, almost like a pitcher because of the injury that he had, and it's coming from his doctor. They're meeting all the benchmarks. He will be in the ones during the joint practices, so he's right on schedule. I found that interesting because people freak out. Well, he threw an interception. He's doing some things to try to figure out, where does this guy like the ball? Can he do the back? Can he do the back shoulder? Can he do this? Can I fit that in here? So I take everything that happens in training camp in those practices. It's a learning thing for him.
Well, but the other thing is also, if you don't get the ball out at X amount of time during a training camp, basically a drill in 11 on 11, they're going to blow the play dead. So sometimes you're just throwing it for the sake of throwing it. It doesn't mean he's necessarily going to do that in a game. Either most likely he's going to roll out, look for a check down, and run the ball out of bounds. There's a million feasible things that he could do with the football. But sometimes in that scenario, before somebody blows a whistle, you just throw the ball for the sake of throwing the ball. And even still, though, guys need jump ball work. They do. Guys need to go up and battle against defensive backs. Defensive backs need to battle against wide receivers. You're not going to win, all of those. I think the thing that, that sticks out there for me is the mental aspect of it, knowing that this is the play we're running. This is the look defense should have. So I want the ball hot potato style out of my hand as quick as possible. And under this scenario, under this coverage, 9 times out of 10, Amari is my first read. Amari is most likely where the guy is going to get the ball. Oh, wait a minute. Now they kind of shifted the coverage. All of a sudden now maybe David Njoku is my read. Or all of a sudden, the coverage really, really shifted. And guess what? I'm going to look everybody off real quick and I'm going to throw it to a back out. And I think that's really the smart way to do it, because it always sounds silly when they talk about mental reps, but that basically is just what Deshaun Watson explained to you what mental rep is. It's I'm looking at the defense and I know what this play is. And, if this is the front I see, if this is the coverage I see, then that's who gets the ball. So, it's all just the act of, taking the snap and getting rid of the ball as quickly as possible. And everybody's up in arms. Look, they already said he could have played against Green Bay. They already going to let him play in the joint practices on Thursday. They said he could play against the Minnesota Vikings, even though he's not. He's going to play against the Seattle Seahawks. There is nothing holding him back. There has been nothing that held him back. Maybe every now and then they said, hey, Deshaun, that's a couple too many throws for today. Let's just shut it down and we'll see you again tomorrow. But as far as any concerns, worries, I think it's kind of like just something that people are trying to maybe either start up to make excuses for, God forbid, something goes wrong, or, just again, people who just always want to find a way to, have some sort of issue with Deshaun Watson and his play.
The other thing I would say is what he's describing, those are things he does well. Identifies matchups. Those were not part of this offense. This was a timing and rhythm offense that doesn't allow you to do those things. So they were trying to fit him into an offense that didn't play to his strengths. So I get hammered about this new offense, and I get emails and I get voicemails and we get comments. That's what the offense is now. It is new in that it is allowing him to look at matchups and identify where he has an advantage and take advantage of it. And he does that really well.
Well, the thing now also is the personnel is upgraded. Jerry Jeudy is going to win a lot of battles. We already know what Amari Cooper and David Njoku can do. Jerome Ford is decent as a receiver out of the backfield. Naheem Hines, that is something he's really good at out of the backfield. Cedric Tillman is showing some really nice signs. Elijah Moore had 55 receptions. Whatever you want to say about him last year, he had more than 50 receptions. David Bell, who's going to be banged up and out for a little bit. David Bell, we always talk about, like, what is their calling card? What do they bring that nobody else does? David Bell kind of plays receiver like he was an ex-quarterback. Like he has that sense of where the spot is, of where the ball should go. And although he's not very high on the pecking order, he seems to find himself in the spot where the ball should be when it is, his number is in fact called. And Jamari Thrash, you build off a 3 for 43 in your first preseason game, probably going to get his number called a bunch more here, certainly against the Vikings, certainly against the Seattle Seahawks. And, the more you put together, the more they're willing to use you. So for a guy like Jamari Thrash, who caught a boatload of balls in college, hit the ground running here, and that starts to build everybody's confidence in you. And look, if the Browns can find a way to use all these receivers, that's good, because it obviously means that every one of them is capable of doing something. Every one of them is a little bit different, although they are a lot of the same. They do have some of the same characteristics as far as route running. But I think the talent is really upgraded here, which should 100% increase the confidence of Deshaun Watson, because he's going to have open guys, probably multiple open guys, as long as he can just get through his progressions as quickly as he should be able to.